Hello and welcome back to Faces of Truth, where we try to make America think again. My name is Alexander McCauley. In the middle of this COVID-19 emotional blackmail that we're experiencing, it turns out that COVID-19, one of the big bad reasons that the deep state is using it, is they're trying to make obsolete currency and turn it into digital ones and zeros so they can indefinitely counterfeit as much money as they want to. Right now, because of paper and the speed of presses, they can only print so much. So, they had to turn us away from currency in order to go on with their plans to produce a world currency that was on a totally digital medium. Basically, that they could say, okay, I digress. Let's examine what would happen if a digital currency were adopted. The digital currency would be overseen by the IMF, International Monetary Fund, even though some of us like to pronounce the F a little bit more profanely. Now, once the International Monetary Fund gets a hold of everybody's money, they can tell you what you can do with it. And if you don't do that with it, they will cut off your credit flow. Now, what we're looking at in the wake of the COVID-19 scare, if this bill establishing a digital currency is passed, which it is being debated on the House floor right now, our money will be stolen from us. It will be allotted back to us if we do what the government wants us to do. If, for instance, I happen to make a recording and post it to YouTube that upsets the government, then they, because they own the accounts, etc., can freeze my assets immediately. Whereas with our present system, because you own an account with a bank, they have to jump through a load of red tape to freeze any assets that you are in ownership of. But with the digital currency and these digital wallets that they're going to be building for each of us, they can track our transactions, they can basically run our lives through the puppet strings of a currency that doesn't even exist. And we wouldn't be allowed to trade unless we use this currency. This would be a way of manipulating us into uh, into a state of slavery. Everyone would have to use the currency. Everyone would have to have their digital wallet in order to trade in the currency, and everyone would have certain limitations placed on the way that they could use that currency. If you were disseminating information that the mainstream regarded as inflammatory or fake, which really most of what the establishment gives out is fake, but they will tell you it's the truth. If you put out something that contradicts that, they can yank all your funding immediately, thus justifying theft of your resources as an individual. If this happens, there will be no freedom of speech, no freedom of assembly, no freedom. Every freedom will have been doxxed by the fact that if you do anything you want to do, it will be punished by the government stealing your resources. So, the system basically facilitates total compliance. I believe I once saw a bumper sticker that read, "The true man is the nonconformist." Okay, so I want to bring up a movie that I once saw. It destroyed my disposition for about a week after watching it. But it was a powerful, low-budget, apocalyptic film. Low budget, it was really low budget, but it made its point. It's called Year of the Dragon. You can stream it on YouTube. But the premise was that China, as a puppet of the World Banks, launched an attack on the United States via EMP. After bringing the networks back up, it took Communist China, the Communist Party of China, took over every network. It commandeered the entirety of our police and military infrastructure, including our intelligence community, and it began enforcing the implementation of wristbands that had a digital currency associated with them. You'd scan the wristband to pay for whatever you needed. Now, thing is, if you upset the Chinese Communist Party in the United States, they would activate a microwave transmitter inside your wristband that was at the sympathetic resonance with your body, and you would be vaporized. You would be turned to ash in approximately 5 seconds. With this infrastructure, through sheer terror, they were able to manipulate the entirety of the American population into compliance with their communist system. The protagonist of the movie literally had to cut his arm off after having made the mistake of accepting a wristband in order to pay for supplies for his family. As he, with a chainsaw, as he crossed the Mexican border into Mexico as a refugee from a newly communized United States. However, right now, with this digital currency being railroaded on us because of COVID-19, there's nowhere to run. Every nation is being targeted. Every people is being targeted. Our supposed representatives are leeching off of us. And in order to make this grand theft from the American people, even more efficient, they are trying to globalize the currency so that there is no competition between currencies, so that there is no they want to globalize government as well, so there is no competition between governments for the establishment of freedom. People will move from less free countries to more free countries in order to be able to do what they are divinely charged to do in mortality. And that is to create, to develop, to do, to build and grow. If you aren't allowed to build and grow, which this system is being set up to prohibit, then you are dead. It doesn't matter whether a stinking virus killed you. The stinking virus has already killed us. If we let these bills, there are two of them, we're being given the alternative between arsenic and cyanide. That's it. We're going to be dead by the end of it anyway. So what I'm trying to say is, we need to think. Do you want a blood-sucking tick in Congress to be able to tell you how you can use your money? Do you want a blood-sucking tick in Congress to be able to tell you how to run your business? This is not the proper role of government. None of what they're establishing is the proper role of government. The proper role of government is to protect... Sorry, let me reword this. The proper role of government is to allow the person to be free to build and grow while protecting them from people that would prohibit them from building and growing. Now, we've got things like fraud. What does it do? It either steals or it enslaves. The government has the prerogative to prevent people from stealing and enslaving. However, our government has started to take upon itself the ability to steal from us and to enslave us. If your resources are stolen and you are enslaved, you are no longer alive. when you infringe on one God-given right, whether it be freedom or property, even life, you are no longer all of the other rights are infringed upon. What we need to ask ourselves is, do we want to hold our representatives to their responsibility as our protectors and representatives, or do we want to give them the power? Do we want to delegate to them the authority to think for us? I, for one, say no. The Brave New World, I believe, is one of building on an individual basis. Centralized centralization is a way of the past. It actually happened when communism started to be instituted in across the world. Things started to centralize, etc. The centralized business that forces you to use their commodity is a communist or socialist system. The true capitalist systems are the individuals going into business for themselves, producing products that they know will fill a niche. In response to the COVID-19 terrorist attack on the United States, I am going to start production of 2 more series on this channel. One, the Nerdworks, or from the Nerdworks, will be an applied science and engineering program that will help to show the next generation how much we need to help each other grow and build, and that there are technologies that exist that will help us do so on an individual basis, and that collectivism is the wave of the past. And the second show I'm going to be producing on this channel, other than Faces of Truth, will be Season for Healing, a cooking show where we teach you how to put together delicious dishes that will help you maintain the vibrant health you need in order to combat every single terrorist attack the governments of the world will be thrusting upon us during the next few years. We need to go out, get information, educate ourselves, and keep our heads during these widespread terrorist attacks that are going to happen in the next few years. Perpetrated not by goat herders from the Middle East, but by our own representatives and politicians in every nation worldwide, and those who back them. Um, Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content, um, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, I love hearing from you. I have heard from several people. One of my uh, a good friend, Garrett Dyers, was telling me uh, that he loved a lot of these claims to share a few of my sources. I will be doing that in the next few episodes, hopefully the next few episodes. Um, but please leave your comments. This is Alexander McCauley signing out. See you next week.